So I think that I've heard the term like speed run used when talking about people like playing video games and stuff. I've probably heard my kid talk about it when watching people play video games on YouTube or something. So what I'm going to do is attempt to do a speed run of and review all of the Hallmark movies that I didn't review yet for Christmas, even though it's January 2nd. And at this point, is there anyone who cares about anything that I have to say about any of these movies, or actually ever did? Not necessarily. However, it's a project that I started. It's a project that I would want to finish, and so I'm going to go ahead and finish it. But here's what I want to say: what I've learned actually this year. Number one, I do like to take time and produce and edit. Produce. I'm using my laptop computer in a program, but editing and stuff. Like, I like to take time and do videos like that, but I cannot do that if I'm going to try to review 4, or in the case of Thanksgiving, 8 movies in a week. It's not feasible unless I retire from my job. So unless by next year I retire, I won't be attempting to do that. I will just be doing quick little things, and I'll just be not even worrying about editing, and I'm going to post them so that I don't think to myself that I'm a failure because nothing has been posted yet, right? So I really hate how the sun is cutting off half of I can't get the camera to either get me in full sun or full shade, because I'm not a professional, so I really do apologize for that if it's annoying. If it's more annoying than just me talking. So, let's go way back to Private Princess Christmas, I think was the name of it. When this movie started, I thought this may very well be like the production value on this movie seems like this movie is going to be absolutely terrible. And on the one hand, this movie isn't very good. But on the other hand, I wasn't mad at this movie, and I was actually, I actually didn't not like this movie. I feel like saying that I enjoyed the movie is saying a lot, but I didn't dislike this movie. And I'll tell you why. For one thing, they had this cook lady who, I just loved her, and I can't remember her name. Her name was something crazy, it was a nickname, and it was a very, funny, nickname. But this is a military situation, and the princess in question is her mom is basically, this is the equivalent of her mom sending her off to boot camp, basically. She's lost her dad, and if mom's I need to see if you're gonna be ready to take over the country, because you're pretty frivolous and just you need to get your life right and get serious. So I'm kind of I really wasn't paying that much attention, right? But sends her to this kind of boot camp thing that is run by the guy that is the male lead in this movie, who I don't think is the greatest actor in the world. But again, I wasn't mad. I actually did enjoy the movie in spite of that. These people had to pull right on the side of me to try to back into the space. So anyway, they made me lose where I was going with that. I don't think that he's great at acting, but still didn't hate the movie. I don't remember what I gave this as a rating, but there were parts of this movie, what this movie has going for it is that she goes to this boot camp that has other people, some famous singer, some tech guy, people who need to somehow make amends with people or society or something, or go to this thing. And, and then they wind up bonding, right? So I like a situation like this where it's we're a group and we're hanging out together and we're going to bond over us being in the same situation. And the movie is not, the movie's pretty stupid, but for some reason, I like the actress who is not, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember what kind of accent she was doing, but I actually liked her from what I recall. Would like to see her in something again. Love the lady who played the cook, co-runner of the camp. It's a cute little movie. I don't remember what I rated it. And I'm going to stop right now. And I have to move to a different location because I'm so warm. It is uncharacteristically warm for January 2nd, but I do live in the Bay Area where but literally last night I had my heated blanket on, and right now I'm sweating. So, I'm going to pick this up in a minute. Okay, back. I'm in the car studio. One of my favorite places. Now, you might ask, why don't I just go inside and, get out of the car and go record this in here, because you do not know all the things that could distract me along the way. Or I could get in there and my mood could completely change and I could say, I'm not doing this. But the plan is, let's do this. And then I'm off for the next 3 days and we're going to get this loaded up. And there you go. Anyway, next movie, Sugarplummed. I did not like this movie nearly as much as I wanted to like it. I love Maggie Lawson because Psych, a show that she was on, is one of my favorites of all time. And I was really looking forward to this because I love the premise about, you know, somebody popping out basically of a Hallmark movie, played by Janelle Parrish. But, you know, because I love when Hallmark movies kind of making fun of itself and the tropes and all of that. But it was fine, but I found myself bored. And I also, I like the message of that Maggie Lawson was trying to make everything perfect, but by trying to make everything perfect, she wasn't, like, there wasn't quality to the time that she was trying to spend with her family and stuff. And that's relatable, not to me as far as, like, how my house looks or anything, but as far as, like, wanting to get X, Y, and Z done on time and, you know, get my reviews done and posted and all of these pressures that come with the season and stuff. And, you know, that some of this came from, like, you know, because she didn't have her mom. And I feel like there was an aspect of this that had to do with her relationship with her mom. And, yeah, and, like, we see that she's grown at the end because there's a picture that she always has to come and make straight. And then at the end, she decides she doesn't have to make it straight. It's just sort of crooked. So this message of being kind of like, you don't have to be perfect. Just relax, enjoy every second, because it's all about the moments and stuff like that. That to me, I really, really liked. But considering the premise and how fun I thought it would be, it just, for me, wasn't that fun. And I was very disappointed by that. But don't remember what I gave it. I've already rated it. I'll go look it up. I'll put it up here. But it's not one that I feel like that I would have any interest in watching it again, which is a real bummer because it seems like something like that should have been a lot of fun. So anyway, let's move on. I think that this takes us into the last week of movies because I think I already did the other two from that week. So let me take a look at my list just a moment. Okay, next up is All I Need for Christmas. Throw out my light. All I Need for Christmas. And I like this movie fine, but I think that the reason that I like this movie is because I like the leads in the movie. And why can I never remember her name? But she was in Gallivant. She was in the movie with Tyler Hynes a couple years ago also. She's really English in real life, but can't remember if she's been English. And she's been in, like, she was in one of the other movies she was in with Tyler Hynes. I want to say it was a Christmas movie where they were doing what do you call it, like a scavenger hunt or something, and like they designed scavenger hunts or something like that. And then the other one I feel was like not a Christmas movie that she was in. But anyway, I really like this actress, and I really like I like the main guy, and I like her mom and dad. And what I think I didn't like was, how do I even explain? As far as the premise for the movie goes, you know, she's a singer and she's trying to make it big, and her agent wants her to use like technology and stuff to try to get a better sound because people aren't wanting to book her. And this guy has made an app. Like part of his business is that they made some app, but in some way it's not really evil. Like, she thinks all apps are evil, and like, because she winds up, of course, leading the choir in her hometown when she goes home for Christmas because her friend asked her to help out with that. And this becomes a tool that can help them with stuff. And so there's all of that going on, but also it's just a nice little movie about family. Like him and his daughter had. worst father ever, because their father, who was this, gajillionaire, is like, whoever has the most money at the end of the year is the one who's going to inherit my company or some shit like that. And like, I don't know, it's showing that relationship to me. Like, I guess there could be sibling relationships like that, but it just felt very unbelievable. But obviously it all ends happily, and it was fine. It wasn't that, not again, the thing for me was the performances. It does, I think, have good writing. Not the most exciting, but of course this is one of the Hallmark movie, Miracles of Christmas movies. So these are the slower kind of, whatever, but it was fine. I reviewed it. However I reviewed it, I'll put it up here. And, but nothing that I, like, it's not one of the movies that I'm going to tell my bestie to watch, because my bestie doesn't like watch Hallmark on the regular, but when I come across something that I'm like, oh my God, I really love this, you need to watch it, I will tell you guys when that happens, but this is not the case with anything that I've said so far. Okay, let me look and see what's next on the list, because I can't remember more than one thing at a time. Okay, this is not going to necessarily be in order, but Trading Up Christmas, Italia Ricci. I love her. As you know, she was in one from the top 5 last year with Luke, and which I'm blanking on, where he was Santa, but I love that movie. I love Italia Ricci. I wanted to love this movie. I thought that it was, but it's another one of those, so the concept of the movie is that she wants to trade up to get her sister a house, and then so I wind up getting distracted because her sister like owns a business and stuff. And then I wind up not being able to think about people who are like actually homeless and stuff, and would actually really need somebody to just give them a free house kind of thing, as opposed to somebody who like not only has a job, but like owns a business and stuff. But okay, so you're supposed to just suspend your disbelief about that. But she starts with this stocking that is very important to her family. And she had seen some story about a boy who did some sort of trade up, like a massive kind of trade up. So she decides she's going to do that for a house. And this guy, the love interest, is a reporter who, his boss gets wind that this is happening and is like, you need to write a warm fuzzy story. And he's like, that sounds terrible. But then of course he winds up going with her to the different trades. And so to me, everything was just like, let's go to this trade, let's go to this trade, let's go to this trade. And while they're fine together, there definitely wasn't anything smoldering about them. Both very attractive people. To me, like, because it was hard for me to suspend my disbelief, I wasn't really like, oh my God, I hope that she gets this house. Like, it wasn't like, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know how many stars to give this, but I didn't find it very interesting. And what I'm going to go ahead and say right now, if you can't tell, like, I'm tired, and I feel like I've been tired for like the entire month of December. And so I feel badly for the movies that come out later in the year, because my get up and go that I have with regard to watching these movies has gotten up and left. And so I didn't preface, my reviews with that, but it is what it is. Like, I unfortunately, like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I kind of feel like they're going to put the ones that aren't necessarily going to be super amazing right at in the thick of Christmas, because they know people are busy and they know people are trying to get ready for Christmas and stuff. So I'm sure that they get that. But again, it was fine. It was fine. And I was going to remember what the next movie is, but I don't remember, because I definitely want to save Happy Holidays for last. So 1 second. Okay, so Santa Claus and Following Yonder Star. Let's do Following Yonder Star first. I really enjoyed this movie. I love Brooke Dorsey. I love John Brotherton. I love the two of them together. There were some... So the thing is she's an actress, and she's been on like seems like a soap opera type of a show, and she had been for years. And then she's in the store, and this incident happened where this guy is a total jerk. And the stuff that's cringy is that they exaggerate. Things are very exaggerated, like how much of a jerk this guy at the store is, and the fact that people are filming it, and that She just doesn't get like have a press conference and tell what her side of the story is, but she feels like a pariah, and she goes and goes off to a small town to just like chill and stuff. And then she tells John Brotherton, who owns the inn, like, because she's up for a movie where she plays like an innkeeper. So she's like, that's perfect. I'll just go to this inn and I'll, do my research or whatever. But of course, she gets there and they have, he's a widower and he has a cute little kid, and there's a school play, and she winds up helping with the play that his daughter is in. And I love them together. I love their chemistry. Again, there are some cringy moments that happen because they could be settled by just saying, this is a misunderstanding and here's what the real deal is, but then we wouldn't have a movie. So, but that aside, I still really enjoyed this movie. Not necessarily, again, enough where I would be like, tell somebody to watch it who doesn't usually watch stuff. But I think that for any Hallmark person, that it would be pretty good. So I'm sure that I'm giving this over a 4 because Brooke Dorsey is just, I absolutely adore her. And I think this is one of my favorite roles that she's been in. Like, she's just, there's something about her where I want to hug her and I want to adopt her and have her be my kid. And then I think John Brotherton's adorable. So, and together they were great. So I would recommend this movie for sure. Santa Claus. Now, this on paper has everything. On paper. This has real Santa. This has Paul Campbell, Kimberly Sustad, Benjamin Ayres, at a school for training Santas. Okay, but this is going to seem so odd because Kimberly Sustad, I've talked about her and how much she is one of my favorite, if not my favorite. She and Bethany Joy Lenz probably are right up there, right? For me. So there was something about this character that I couldn't quite understand. Oh, God. There were times where she seemed like she was just completely exhausted and over it in a way. And I didn't know if that was enough to create this character. And that probably doesn't make any sense if you haven't watched the movie. And even if you have watched the movie, it might not make any sense. But I think for me, it's my least favorite Kimberly Sustad performance. And again, I don't think that's her fault. I think that's the writing, probably. And it was hard to suspend my disbelief that in this town, there are 2 schools that you can go to learn how to be a mall Santa. Because I don't understand how that is a profitable business model, number 1. And number 2, especially when there are 2 competing agencies in town. It makes very little sense to me. But 3, it does make me actually want to go and research if there is a school that you can go to learn how to be a Santa, because I can't imagine that that's a thing. But perhaps I'll surprise myself. I do love that Paul Campbell pops up in what I thought was just going to be a short little cameo, but really no, he's basically a character in the movie, in this, but he is Paul Campbell, preparing for a role. And I love that idea, but to me, that wasn't as funny as I thought it should be, considering A, it's Paul Campbell, and B, that premise is amazing. And I was waiting for it to grab me and make me laugh and stuff, and it just didn't, which was frustrating. I do like the random cast of characters, although the idea that there was a guy in this who talks through a puppet, I don't picture him going to a Santa school. I also don't picture that when it comes time for judging this contest that they put on, not they put on, but there is a contest to like find the best Santa, that there would also be a lady there who's one of the judges who also talked through a puppet or something. Like, I felt like we were trying to be quirky for quirkiness sake, where it was like, this doesn't feel quirky. This just feels really, really freaking odd to me. And then the biggest one is that they stumble upon Nick, like, roaming around in the woods, and very quickly, like within the same few minutes, realize that this is the actual Santa because they see the reindeer. So basically, they kind of kidnap Santa in a way, and take him back to the school because they figure with this ringer, they're going to win the contest this year. But this is the actual real Santa who is obviously suffering from amnesia, and there are his reindeer. But that's how badly they want to win this contest so that like the school can keep on running or something, even though Kimberly Sustad maybe wants to sell the school because she's not really into this because this is really her dad's thing and he wants to retire and move to Florida or whatever. I don't know. A lot of problems, but what I will say is that this movie, the kisses were fire. Like, there was more than one kiss, and they were pure, like, absolute smoke and fire. Benjamin Ayres and Kimberly Sustad will win, for me, kisses of the year. Smoking hot. And they're both, again, love her, love him. They're very attractive people. And there were funny moments in this, and there were some nice moments in this, but overall, what a hodgepodge. And I don't even remember what I put down for my rating, but I'll put it up here. And there's no way I could tell anybody to watch this movie because I think it's a mess, but I'm not mad that I watched it because it wasn't really boring. So I'm okay with the fact that I watched it. You know, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. Okay, I think that all I have left is this one movie, but let me make sure. Okay, Happy Holidays. Okay, guys, so here's the deal. The male lead in this movie won the contest on whatever the show was that was on Hallmark Plus, where the way I explained it to people, it's like The Bachelor, but when you win, you get to be in a Hallmark movie. You don't go on a date with somebody, you get to be in a Hallmark movie. This guy, in my opinion, is a terrible actor. I would say no shade, but I guess that is shady, but I'm just saying he's not, in my opinion, terrible. Okay. And, that I hope that he gets some classes and some training, and I don't know if he's had them or anything yet, before he's in another Hallmark movie, because again, terrible. So I'm sure he's a very nice person. I'm sure he's absolutely lovely, but wooden, two times where, like, in a normal Hallmark movie, here's somebody who's angry about something, but like too angry to the point of like you are completely unlikable, as opposed to you're just a grouchy curmudgeon, and like that I can see where she's going to like you. There was nothing about him aside from the fact that his body is like, he's completely ripped, because there's a scene where he takes his shirt off. So and his face is pleasant, right? But other than that, there was nothing about this guy that made me believe that anyone, including our lead, played by, I want to say her name is Jessica Lowndes or something, would be interested in him. Okay. Except for the fact that he like runs like a shelter and likes dogs. Okay. So that part's good. And then our lead actress, when we meet her, and this is, okay. So what I have to say about her character, I think, is more about the writing than her acting ability. I think she's fine. But the way that we are supposed to know that she is a slob or a loser or something, is that they show her wake up in bed, and she, like a normal person, and she's getting up and she's all like this, unlike, how sometimes at Hallmark they just turn off the alarm and they wake up and they're like, dee, 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 dee. So waking up like a normal person, like all in a disarray and whatever, and there's like a bag of chips in her bed. Now, personally, I mean, not that I wouldn't go to sleep necessarily with a bag of chips in my bed, but I did not see how this, as a let's show that this character's a mess thing, was really working, because she's also in this house on the water that's absolutely lovely. So she's not like living in like squalor or anything. She had a bag of chips in her bed. Okay. And then her parents come to visit, and this was disappointing because her mom was played by a lady that I like a lot. She was in Unexpected Christmas. She's been mom in several things. She's mom in something else this year. Oh, she was mom in The Real West with Kimberly Sustad and handsome man whose name Lucas Bryant. So she was mom there, and then the dad is the guy who my guys on Hallmark called it. He looks like Peter Gallagher, and he was also in Three Wiser Men and a Boy. He was their mom's boyfriend. So he's in this as her dad. So they show up and they have this conversation about her where they're standing on a dock of her house. Okay, like on the deck. I'm sorry, on the deck. And first we see, I think I have video of it, and if I do, I'll put it here. But first we see like the view from her deck, which is absolutely stunning. Okay, stunning, as they say in on a show, like an English baking show. Somebody would say that's stunning. Anyway, stunning, the view. And so then they show her, or they show the parents talking, and they're like, basically like, they're saying everything but, God, what a loser our daughter is, right? Because they're like, and she's just so lost. She seems so lost. And they pan up, and you're seeing this house, which looks like a freaking paradise, full of windows, sitting on this beautiful body of water. And then they show her up there being like, yeah, and I'm thinking, I'm sorry, I don't really feel this is what like being lost, a lost loser looks like to me. This is insane. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous that you expect me to believe that even though she's not doing what she was on track to do, and I'll get to that in a second, she's not doing what she was on track to do, that she is somehow lost or not like really doing well at adulting, because that house alone would indicate that she's doing just fine at adulting because she's living there. It's not like she's living in your basement. Okay, Mom and Dad? Anyway, so she, in my opinion, comes across as kind of like both of these characters, to me, come across as not being terribly bright. There's something about them where I don't feel like these characters, like I would have this like a super intellectual conversation with them. Okay. Am I judging a book by its cover or judging a book by how it sounds or something? I don't know what I'm doing, but that's what I would say. And because I can only say that when we find out what her deal is, because right now she works for this company that like has a website that, because the whole thing, God, I didn't even tell you guys about the dogs yet. Oh my God. Let me tell you about the dogs real quick. And the whole reason that they're together is because this dog follows her home, and then she tries to drop it off the shelter, and then they have a meet nasty where they have this terrible argument because he's just being a total dick up to her. And but then their dogs meet at the park, and they basically kind of, for all intents and purposes, fall in love. Like a Pongo and Perdita thing from 101 Dalmatians, which, don't get me wrong, 101 Dalmatians, the original from the 60s, is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I have no problem buying that these dogs fell in love and then had puppies. Okay? But in real life, and maybe it's only because that for most of my adult life, I've had cats. I've had neutered cats, and for like the last like 8.5 years, I've had cats that are only inside, right? And so my cats are just all sisters and brothers, and so there's like I literally have a girl, and then I have a set of 2 brothers, and like it doesn't ever occur to me, because they're spayed or neutered, right, that like there's any like boyfriend girlfriend situation that's ever going to arise. But maybe there are dogs that actually do fall in love with each other, kind of thing. Because, so they kind of, it's like they're acting like they fall in love, and they're kind of like, even though we hate each other, let's keep hanging out because this is going to be cute for this like place that I work, like an online magazine or whatever it is. I don't know. And so that's why they hang out, so their dogs can hang out at the park and stuff together. Okay. So anyway, she finally tells him, which I just, again, okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. So then she finally tells him what the deal was. That she used to be a doctor. And I literally started laughing so hard. And then that's when I was like, okay, now this movie just became not boring, because that is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. And it's hilarious that they want me to believe that this lady went to medical school and was a doctor. And then the story that she tells is very sad, that she's an ER doctor. She's in the operating, like she sees this girl sitting outside in the hallway, and she has to get rushed. She rushes into surgery. And then when she comes out, the girl is still there. So they rush her into surgery, but she dies because she had internal bleeding or something, which is incredibly sad, right? And then that made her just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be a doctor anymore because I don't want to be around this, which is like, that would be an ER doctor's life. And why anybody would want to do that job, I have no idea. And it takes a special breed, which is why I really appreciated that movie, that Christmas on Call from this year, where they really did a great job of showing like what Christmas holidays and stuff are like for people who work in the emergency services. Nothing but utmost respect for them. But the fact that that was her backstory, I was just like, this movie is a wackadoodle. And like, but still, I really immensely disliked this movie. Like, so much. There were so many things that he said where I couldn't stand him. I didn't care about her. The dogs were cute. That's it. And that's it. So, but the only thing I think that I literally during the movie was saying, I hate this movie. And so I don't see how it can rank above 5 Gold Rings, but it may tie for the worst with 5 Gold Rings because it did engage me, but like in an angry way. Like the movie made me angry because it was so bad. So I don't know how to sculpt that into its standings. But I'm thinking it's going to wind up tied with 5 Gold Rings for the worst movie of the year. So anyway, I also just want to end, but I want to end on a positive note and say that on New Year's Eve, I think it was, my days all run together. I finished watching Ghost of Christmas Always, which I had seen 2 years ago and was my number 1 for 2022. And I just want to say that brought me so much joy after finishing Happy Holidays. Yeah, I think it was 2 days ago that I finished Happy Holidays. Then I was like, this is the palate cleanser that I needed. And so I cannot stress enough how, whether it be this year, I mean, Christmas is already gone, but some of y'all might want to watch Christmas movies all year long, or next year, if you have not seen The Ghost of Christmas Always, please, please, please watch that movie, because it is truly, in my opinion, one of the best that Hallmark's ever done. That and Biltmore Christmas are 2 of my absolute favorites of recent years. So with that, I'm hot. I'm tired. I'm going to go. I just went to work a little overtime today. I'm going to go inside and chill. Maybe I'll put this together. I really thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I'm going to get all my ratings put together too, and I'll post that and you can see how it compares with yours for the year. Okay. And then, all those other reviews that I did that are sitting in my computer on my phone, I'll post those at some point, but whatever. I'm still going to post this probably before all those. So anyway, Happy New Year to everybody. I'm wishing everybody has a year that brings everything that you could ever hope for. And if you thought 2024 sucked, I hope that 2025 does not. That's what I hope for you. And you know what? If it did suck, it made us stronger, because we're still here. We're still standing and it didn't knock us down, right? All right, guys. Thanks again. I'll talk to you later. Bye.